can I give you $150 to turn this into potentially making a six-figure income is absolutely crazy. And I think a lot of people kind of have to understand that, because it's really important that you bet on yourself really early on in your career and understand that the best wealth building tool is going to be your income. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans. And as you see today, we already know we got our Cafecito on deck, and we're back at another episode of Cafecito Talks. And today we have a really special guest. We actually had breakfast the other day at Catedral, and we had some chilaquiles. It was fire, but it was also a really good conversation. I felt as if everybody kind of had to hear his story, because honestly, it impacted me, and I think it's really going to impact everybody else just to kind of hear his team, his growth, and where he's got to where he's at today. So thank you so much for joining me today, Refugio. If you want to go ahead and give a background on everything on how you started in your journey.
So I think what I had told you was the backstory of it, like how it really went down. But real estate started for me. So before this, I did construction. And my last 2 years, I was building homes.
Yeah.
But COVID hit. I started losing my work, man.
Yeah.
So I had to figure something else out. So pretty much TikTok was coming out, right? It was getting popular. I was that one guy. I was like, never download it, you know. My friends were like sending me nonstop TikToks. Started growing more and more. I was like, okay, I'll download it. TikTok tracks your phone, right? It gets things that you look up, whatever. And so construction jumped in there, and then real estate somehow.
Yeah.
And the first video I ever saved on TikTok was a guy saying, what if I told you you could get licensed for $150? And I'm like, there's no way, you know, you can make so much money with just paying $150. So long story short, you know, like about 4 weeks later, got licensed.
Yeah.
You know, for $150, and then started doing that. And well, here I am now. I'm about to hit 5 years actually, so
that's crazy, bro. Ain't crazy how time flies, bro?
Crazy, man.
For sure. Well, I think one of the main things that impacted me, number one, just based on what you said, first off, $150 to make, you're pretty much $150 to bet on yourself. That's what you're doing. And, you know, for you to say like, hey, can I give you $150 to turn this into potentially making a six-figure income is absolutely crazy. And I think a lot of people kind of have to understand that, because it's really important that you bet on yourself really early on in your career and understand that the best wealth building tool is going to be your income. That's the way that's going to make you the most wealthiest and make you have generational wealth, is really betting on yourself, and with that income, hopefully make a difference. Yes. The reason why I did that is because obviously your team name, so you want to kind of share to everybody how you were came up with that name.
So actually, it's kind of funny because I was, you know, at the office late night. It was like 9-10 p.m. And I was like, man, like I see everybody making a team and I see what they're doing, you know, they have a mission. I was like, well, so let me backtrack a little bit. Yeah. So another reason why I got into real estate is because, so I found out my mom actually got a little screwed over in her loan. Yeah. You know, they put her on a balloon payment. And she didn't know, you know, and she was telling me, hey, what's this and that. And I was like, man, I don't even know. I just, you know, actually my mom didn't even know I was doing real estate. Yeah. You know, for the first 7-8 months. And so when she started asking me, I was like, man, let me ask the lender. Let me see what we can do about this. And I found out, you know, I was like, oh shit, this is actually what's going on. So, you know, we got that corrected, and I was like, man, I can actually help people out. You know, we can actually make a difference. Yeah. You know, we can help them out, fix their situations at home and stuff like that. And I was like, man, like, let me make a team. Let me get some people that have the same mentality, same mission in life as me. Yeah. And I was like, man, what can I name it? You know, I was like, man, Team Cuco is my nickname. Yeah. Team Cuco, like, Team Refugio. What can I put? And I was like, man, because I wanted to make a difference. I was like, wait, the difference, la diferencia. Yeah. I was like, the difference, la diferencia, okay, you know. And I made the logo that same night. I was like making a bunch of messed up designs, you know. But yeah, I was like, man, like for sure, like this is it, you know. And I want to keep moving forward with this, and here I am. Actually, I just released an updated logo not too long ago, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. You know, and I was like, man, here we are, you know, actually making an impact in people's lives. We can actually help them out, teach them, you know, because people need guidance in this. You know, we're not really taught the buying process, selling process, any of that stuff, you know. Yeah. And then we have people like you that help us out with the financing, explain to them loans, down payments, what down payment assistance actually is, you know, which actually makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't just jumping into these random loans, like having people sell them a dream,
Right.
you know, which unfortunately happened to my mom,
Right.
you know, and so that's where the team name came from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted to make a difference, so I was like, that's
Right.
the name, you know?
Yeah, no. And how do you feel as if that all impacted your journey? Because once you figured that out with your mom, were you already licensed at that point?
Yeah, I was.
So how much of that did it impact your journey? Like, was like, did it kind of blow your business up at that point?
No, definitely, like, I'm not gonna lie with you. At the beginning, it was like, man, I'm just here to make some money, you know?
Yeah,
make some money, that's it. But then, like, once we fixed that situation and helped her out more and more, I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can actually do something with this, you know?
Right.
Just aside from making money. And so I started helping out my friends from high school. And I was like, damn, you know, one of them, he actually had a baby on the way,
Yeah.
you know? And he was freaking out, this and that. And I was like, wait, let me see what I can do, you know? Got him home a week before the baby was born.
Dang.
I was like, trust me, bro. Like, I'm going to just focus on you and I'm going to get this done no matter what. A week before the baby was born. He was like, I trust you, bro. Bro, day and night. Day and night. I was talking to the listing agent. Hey, we need to get this closed, bro. Hey, this and that. Like, hey, I need you to set up with the appraiser because, you know, the listing agents have to accommodate with their time and everything. Bro. And I started focusing. I was like, yeah, this is something we could work with.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about the money. It's more about helping others out.
100%.
And after a while, I mean, I didn't focus on the money anymore.
Yeah.
The money came, thankfully, you know. And honestly, I never charged my buyers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, until this day, I don't charge my buyers. So it's like, man, you're helping people out, technically for free, right?
Right.
You know, I find some way to get the commission paid from the seller and keep both sides happy.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, everybody's human.
Right.
You're going to make sure everybody's good to go. But definitely impacted everything.
100%.
I see what I can do for, like, when I help out my friends' moms, my cousins, my aunts, whatever, it's an impact. You can definitely see it. You feel it too, you know, you feel good. That's why I feel like you and I love this business.
Yeah.
You know, because we see the difference, man.
No, 100%.
No pun intended.
And you know what's funny is, like, the moment that people make the most amount of money in their lives are the times that they don't even think about the money.
Yes.
If I'm being completely transparent. Like, when you dedicate your heart and soul into something and you're not really thinking of the outcome, you're just going a million miles an hour, usually that tends to be the time where you're the most successful. Because for me in my career, I can speak about only for myself, is like I feel like my career was a blur. Like, I really don't know what the fuck happened. It just went from you were right here and then all of a sudden, boom, you just kind of blew up pretty quickly. But I never really looked at the money. It wasn't like, okay, if I close up this amount, I'm going to make this amount, I'm going to do this. It just naturally kind of blew up naturally. And at the end of the day, it wasn't about the check. It was more so trying to help as many people as I possibly could, educate as many people as I could, do things like this to spread the knowledge to everybody. And eventually it kind of grew up and blew a lot quicker than what I ever expected. But for you, right, one thing that I loved about your story was the climb up, right? I think people kind of have to recognize and understand that in order for you to have any type of success within this world, is you're really going to have to climb, right? So there's a mountaintop, and in order for you to be on top of it, you have to climb the mountain. So in your case, in your journey, you know, what was your hardest struggle or hardship that you had to go to get to the position that you're in right now?
Career-wise, right?
Career, personal life, it could be either or, bro.
Oh, damn, we're going personal. So, because I think I told you how I grew up, right? And, like, how everything switched, like, with mentality. So, I mean, I'll tell everybody that, too. I don't know if I told you. I think I did when we first joined. But, I mean, backtracking. So, yeah, I grew up in a little village, you know, way different lifestyle than Garfield Ridge, which is where I moved, like, years later.
Yeah.
But I saw the difference. I mean, no pun intended again, but you definitely see it. You know, you can see a huge change. And I would start questioning things, you know, like, oh, my God. Like, unfortunately, I didn't have a two-parent household. Yeah. So I was like, oh, my God, I have both parents. Like, dad and mom picks them up, takes them to school, this and that. And I was like, oh, my God, what's going on here? And we would wear, like, tank tops, you know, basketball shorts, you know, huaraches. Yeah. And we'll see kids, like, wearing polos, like, you know, better clothing, I could say. And then I would just question everything, like, what's going on here? And I would just, like, put it to the back of my mind, you know. Later on, started seeing, like, oh, my God, like, you can't see what, how can I say it? I don't want to say generational curses, you know, but, like, costumbres malas, how can you say in English? Like bad habits. Bad habits, yeah. You know, like, I can see it, you know, Hispanics, quinceañeras. Yeah. You know, they were asking everybody for money. Like, we were all blowing all this money in this one party when we didn't have money for home or whatever the case was. Like, I was noticing all these things, and I was like, man, like, has to be a change to it, you know. But I think what really impacted my life was when I was 15. I had lost my dad, and I was like, man, like went into a dark hole, you know. But at 19, I was like, man, I gotta get out of this hole. Like that's it, you know. It's been too long for it. Yeah. And I started digging. I started looking more, and I started reading books, getting into motivational stories, this and that. And they're telling me like, you can't be a victim, you know. It is what it is. It's tragic, you know. Right. But you're gonna be like that the rest of your life or what? You know, there's more people you have to worry about. I have nieces and nephews, you know, younger brothers. And I was like, man, like it's not about me, you know. It's about those that come after you. Right. And so that's when I started picking myself up. I was like, let's go, you know. Right. Let's get going. And sorry. Okay. But so I started doing construction again, right? Because after that, I was just doing roofing at the time. I was just like living day by day, you know, whatever the case is. And I became a general contractor, you know. So I started growing a little more, getting on my own jobs. I was like, cool, you know, looking for more all the time, not being a victim. Like more. Okay, I lost this job, cool, whatever. It's hot as hell up here, whatever, you know. You get to it, man. You didn't go to college, get to it, you know. Right. But then when COVID happened, I mean, I lost my contracts when I was building houses. I was working with a builder, and I was like, damn, you know. And that's when everything changed, cause I don't share this much, but the day I passed my licensing exam was the same day my father had passed, and I didn't even notice until I was like, so I actually took the train downtown, you know. I was pretty much broke, bro. I'm not gonna lie, you know. Yeah. I was in the train station waiting for the train to get there, and I was like, man, you know, I was happy as hell. I was crying. I was like, shit, I'm gonna change my life, you know. This is telling me something. And I looked at the sheet, and I was like, man, what date is? I'm gonna remember this forever. I was like, holy shit. You know, that's crazy. I didn't even notice. And I'm not gonna lie, I just stood there crying, you know. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, how crazy is this?
No, that's crazy, bro.
But yeah, I mean, I hit 5 years in a few months.
Well, my condolences first off for you, and you know, it's I think it's really hard, bro. I can't imagine a life without my father, you know. And I think that in your journey, your story, the most beautiful part about it is that you have a lot of fucking resilience, bro. You know, you don't meet a lot of people who don't have that victim mindset, and you continue to push no matter what is in front of you, you know. And I think you just gotta, at some point, you just gotta believe in, if you don't believe in God, but in my case I do, so if you believe in some sort of God, or believe that you have to believe in something bigger than you in order for you to keep pushing to move forward, because at the end of the day, bro, all that stuff could tear you down, and then guess what, you're gonna be rock bottom, and you're not gonna get anywhere. It's not gonna make anything come back. It's not gonna make anything better for any better situation. So I think it's important for everybody to hear your outcome, to hear that you made it across the dark times, right? You made it to the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're still going. You're still keep moving forward, because at the end of the day, you might be at a higher place that you thought you were going to be before, but it's not the end result, bro. This is just the beginning of the journey, you know?
That's why I think people need to understand, like, once you start, you can't stop. Like, you literally, like, it goes back to, like, not even focusing on the money. Yeah. But I know how bad it was for myself in those few years. Like, how bad though. Like, it was dark, bro. You couldn't do anything. Yeah. You know, you were just like, man, fuck the world. You know, pretty much. You know, whatever the case was, and you see it repeatedly, but different situations. You know, and it's like, god damn, like, let's cut this shit out already. Yeah. You know, and that's why the difference, bro. The difference. Like, we have to figure this out. We have to keep moving forward. You can't be a victim. I get it. Life's hard, but hey, you know, today's hard. Tomorrow might be easy. You never know. So keep pushing for it. Look forward. Start looking for the better. You know. Yeah. The best part about it, because I was young, man. I was like, man, I can't do this. I was like, I'm not even 20, bro.
What's funny is what you're talking about is like it's helped you learn to value time too. You know, based on everything you're kind of telling me, you can kind of see life at a different perspective that not everybody's gonna be able to see. And you have a lens or a very strong mindset because of the hardships you came on very early. And when you see life at a different perspective, the way that you're looking at it, you value time that much more. So that's why you're always trying to grind, because you're like, I don't know what today has left of it, or the next day has for me and my family. So I'd rather just kind of try to grind as much as I possibly can, because tomorrow's not promised, you know. And I think that that's important. Do you feel as if your mindset has shifted a lot over the last couple of years? Have you slowed
Mm.
down a little bit, or what do you feel like you're at mentally now?
That's a really good question because I was actually thinking about that not so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought about how when I started, it was just like work hard, work hard, work hard. But it's not about working hard, you know. It's about actually understanding what you're doing.
Right.
You can work, 16, 18 hours a day, barely sleep, but if you're not actually doing the proper things, you're not actually working, man. You're just there.
Right.
You're just hitting a hammer with a nail, which was
Right.
what I used to do,
Right.
So I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, like, hold up, because I used to work all day, man. It was like 7 a.m. to like 10, 12.
Right.
My brother would be like, hey, man, you're never home. Where are you? I'm like, the office.
Right. Right.
But you start noticing there's specific things you need to do, and that's what caught my attention. I was like, man, like, hold up, I'm doing all this, but I'm not doing it correctly, So I started picking out the pieces, like what's actually important, and what am I wasting time on? Going out for reasons you don't even need to be going out. Like, stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop talking to these people. That they're just wasting your time. They're bad influences. Stop doing that. I don't know. Stop reading, watching, listening to bad things. My mindset has definitely changed from the beginning. Because before it was like, you kind of, how can I explain it? You can just fall for it. You're gullible, kind of,
right.
Type of thing. But once you start understanding this business, what you can actually do, and how people actually try to use it in good and bad ways, you start figuring out how to move yourself, which way you want to rotate instead of just letting other people rotate for you. So, I mean, that's why I reached out to you. I was like, man, I think we can make this work, bro.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing is important too is having a good understanding on how, when you're in those tough moments, the hard moments, what drives you, what continues to make you keep moving forward. Like, how do you kind of program your brain to be like, nothing's gonna change what's in front of me.
Yeah,
I got to keep going forward. Like, how did you build that?
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy at all. But I mean, it's not impossible either. Because I'm telling you, I don't know if you know this famous speaker, Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
But he actually grew up in Chicago too, and this and that, in Detroit, and his podcast came on YouTube one time, and I started listening, and he's like, okay, so what? Like, he literally said my story. He was like, oh, okay, so what? You grew up in poverty, whatever the case is, this and that. You don't have a father, you don't have a mother, whatever the case is. Like, who cares? And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean, And he's like, yeah, who cares? Like, you don't have is your mom still working? Do you have your kids like 100%, taken care of? Is your college gonna be paid off 100%? Do you want kids? Do you want a wife? What do you want? And I was like, yeah, I do want a family, And like, I started figuring out my why. He started saying the specific things, and I was like, shit. And he's like, that means you're a family man, You want to have a family, this and that. You're family orientated. I was like, shit, that's true. That's what my mom taught me, When you have something, you don't ever eat it in front of people if you don't have enough for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Always share whatever you have. And I was like, holy shit, like, that's what I want to do. And I was like, I'll be like, okay, cool. When I lose a deal now, I could use now that as an example. It's pretty much like, oh my God, I was going to make this commission. I could be like that. And that's how it was when I first started.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like, I lost 4,500. I lost whatever the case is, But now it's like, oh, damn, like, hold up. Before we kill the deal, like, let me make sure that I can try and save enough for me, but for the buyer, the seller, whoever it is for.
Right.
Because now I understand this business kind of in and out, and it can change the situation for them. Because I always put myself in that position. It's like, what if they're going through the same thing that I was going through? Right. They lost somebody, whatever the case was. Hold up, let me try and save this. And actually, it did happen once, man. It was crazy. I didn't know about it. So this lady was selling her house, and I didn't know her husband had just passed. But the thing is that they weren't married here. So, like, he didn't come on the title or anything like that. And, she was like, hey, I just need to sell the property. And, like, she'll cry sometimes, but she just wouldn't talk to me, She'll cut the conversation short right away, and she'll just get up and leave the office. And I was like, man, like, somebody telling me, like, for some reason there's a connection here. Like, we need to get this done for her no matter what. Long story short, too, they had done fraud on her. So it's very common now. On her mortgage, like, they had more liens on it, and they didn't explain it to her.
What? So
it was just like, man, like, everything we're finding on title, all this and that, is just crazy now. And yeah, man, like, I gotta get this done. I ended up cutting my commission. Honestly, I didn't make any money, And I was like, I don't care. Like, I need to just get this close for her, And whatever the case was, we closed, and she started crying, closing, and she told me, she's like, oh my God, she's like this and that, and I was like, damn.
This impact.
I didn't know, but something was telling me like there's something going on, you know.
What was it? What was the main thing that helped? What was hurting her?
Her husband had passed.
Ah, yeah.
But the thing is, like, he wasn't here. You know, they weren't married here. They were married in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that she was married. You know, she didn't really open up too much. She was just a referral.
Yeah.
And she was like, just sell it. I don't know. Like, just sell it. You know, one of those type of clients.
100%.
And yeah, man, it's like there's so much going on with the people. Like, I can't fall into that victim mentality. You know, I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what this business teaches you too.
Right.
I always say this business is a tank full of sharks.
100%.
You know, you want to come over here and cry, it's not the business for you.
Right.
At the end of the day, you gotta handle your problems, your buyers, your sellers' problems, your rentals problems. You know,
100%.
I mean, you have an investment property, your tenants' problems. You know, because if they can't pay you, then it becomes your problem, right?
Right.
So it's like you can't come here and expect to just be given money.
Right.
You make a good amount of money here too, but you gotta be able to handle everything that comes with it.
100%. I think the main thing about our job is that you are only going to be as successful as if how you are of a problem solver. Your problem solving skills is probably the number one thing that you have to have. And I think that's honestly for any entrepreneurship job, bro. Like if you want to do any type of sales or anything, if you don't know how to problem solve or if you can't handle the pressure, you shouldn't be in sales. But if you become a very good problem solver, that can make you make 6 figures plus easy. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to pick up the phone. A lot of people don't want to work more past 5 o'clock. A lot of people really kind of imagine a life of sales where you're just kind of sitting there, the phone rings, you pick up, you close the deal, and then let your team members handle the rest, right? And unfortunately, that's just not the reality of what sales should be. It's boots on deck, keep grinding, and then eventually, yeah, you might have a team that tries to handle a portion of it because you just don't have enough time. But I think that a lot of people kind of steer away from that, and people are scared of failing, bro. They're scared of you know, having some sort of negative perception about themselves. But I was always taught failure is the mother of success. You know, you in order for you to succeed, you gotta fail. Yes. You have to sit on your ass and be like, damn, I messed up on this one. Yeah, let me see how I can again problem solve, get back up on my feet, and take this stuff to the next level, and never allow that to happen again to me. And that's why I'm a big advocate for networking as many people as you can. One thing I love about our job is I can have so many conversations. That conversation you just mentioned right now about the señora that you help sell, like, think about that. You never know what someone's going on in their life at that moment. And a person like that has true wisdom. They have a true understanding of value of life because they just lost someone that meant so deep and meaningful to them. So their perspective on life is going to be so much different than what you're bringing forth to your own life. And the reason I bring that up is because it's like, for example, my life and my level of wisdom completely shifted and changed when I had my daughter, right? Like it made me open up to a different realm of life where you're sitting there like, and you're looking at it and you're like, damn, my life has completely changed forever. And you never understood what people meant by that until you have your baby. And now you're like, you almost kind of see life speed up really quick, but your days are a little bit more control. Like you have more control of your time because you have to, because you're really meticulous about your time because you want to make sure that, again, like we were talking about, you're investing into your family. I think it's very important that people, whether it be man or woman, have a set mindset that you invest in your future financially, you invest in your job currently that you're working in, and you invest in your family. You invest in those three things. It's going to help you build a better future for yourself. And that's one thing that it changed my complete perspective on life. I'm like, oh shit, like I got to get home at this time because I really want to see my daughter at this time and do this so I can have next amount of time. So I got to make sure that I work extra hard throughout the day to be able to do this. And you have a little bit more control of your time. As for before, I didn't really care what time I got home or what I did because there was no really responsibility. I was just like, okay, I could do what I want, when I want, how I want. And it's a different level of perspective. And that's one thing I respect about you and the story you just told is that, like, people like you, bro, I can listen to and hear yourself because I never been through that experience that you described to me about your father. I've never done that. So you as a man of a portion of your life is more wiser than what I am. So I can learn from you. I can learn from the woman that you described to me that lost her husband, because she's wise, she has wisdom. How did she get through that? Those are questions people need to ask when they're going through hardship, struggle, pain, because you're never going to be able to get out of those situations unless you talk to other individuals who have triumphed through it, because it gives people a sense of light. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a path that I could follow that will ultimately lead me to be happy again, because it's really hard, bro. Like, if you don't have someone around you that's gone through the stuff that you've gone through, like, how do you know where to go? It's hard. You know, you're a pioneer of that. You figured it out, but not everybody's going to do that. Some people just rather kind of sit there and hopefully pray that their problems go away, when in reality it's not. You got to face them, and you got to continue to try to grow, you know. But
that's actually sorry, I'm sorry to you, but like one thing I tell every agent that joins my team, I'm pretty sure you're gonna remember this, bro, but 100% chance, there's 100%, not 90, not 75, not 80, whatever the case, 100%, you're gonna have a bad day in life, without a doubt. I tell them, look forward to it. Because if you're not preparing for it, it's going to smack you across the face. You're not going to know what to do. And I was like, yeah, right now you might close 2-3 deals in a week or so. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to have that month when you're like, oh, my God, my deals fell through. Now what? You know? I use that example. I don't know. Some people have different expenses. They just prepare, man. And the way you explain it with your family, you know, invest in, good investments, you know, assets in your family, your job. That's something that real estate taught me, too. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I mean, I would just blow my money. You know, it's like, oh, here it is. All right, bye, you know? But now it's like, okay, cool, hold up. There's good months, bad months in this business, and we need money to run this business, right? It's not free. You know, you got to control it. So that's what it taught me. Control your expenses for the business, home, and other expenses that might be needed, you know, investments.
Right.
And it just goes back to that. There's 100% chance that you're going to have a bad day.
Right.
And if you're not looking forward to it and you're scared of that bad day, it's going to hit you harder.
Right.
And that's something that I learned when I was going through those moments, you know?
100%.
It was, okay, well, the bad day is here, man. And I'm like, can't get worse than this, right? I would crack jokes, man. I'd be like, 100%. Can't get worse than this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. Like, get up, man. That's it. Like, stop crying. Stop beating yourself. Stop, whining about it. It already happened, man. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen now? Nothing. Because you already went through it.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I think that my biggest thing is I almost like overly prepare for a bad day. I'm like, fuck, I gotta have a lot of fucking money because what if the world stops? No more real estate is being sold ever again. And I have this like weird thing about myself where I'm like very, very, very paranoid. And it's funny though, because again, like I told you, I like going to the gym. I like going in the morning. That's my sacred time. That's me to kind of evaluate where I'm at in life and just continue to try to grow mentally, physically, every type of way that I'm trying to go. And I watched this podcast this morning. I don't know if you know Grant Stephan, but he had a podcast. I forgot the guy's name, but he wrote a book that was the kind of complete opposite of what everybody's saying is pretty much spend your money, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, the younger you are, you want to try to enjoy your money more because this is the most responsive your body's going to be in your entire life, right? 20s, 30s. And then once you start getting older, your body starts deteriorating, unfortunately. And, you know, you kind of stop working around hopefully 50, 60, 70 years old, and then you're done, you're retired, you don't have to work anymore. But his point is at that point in time, your body is starting to deteriorate at a faster pace than when you were at 20, 30 years old. So try to enjoy the experiences the youngest you possibly can, so that way, you know, in the future, you're not regretting the fact that you didn't enjoy it in your best times, you know. I think there has to be a fine balance. The one thing about life that's the hardest thing is finding balance in every single aspect in life and maintaining happiness. And happiness is only maintained by reevaluating yourself every single day, trying to figure out like, all right, am I investing enough? Am I, you know, investing again in my family? Am I investing enough for my future? Am I investing enough for my job? So that way, you know that a little bit of everything is going everywhere. And at the end of the day, as long as you're trying to do your best to do everything and evaluate yourself and become the best version of yourself, eventually your life is going to play out the way it should be. It's hard to predict the future. It's hard to kind of dictate what your outcome is going to be. But at the end of the day, bro, like, I think that's the one thing that I see people our age do and it's very difficult to get through someone that's in their 20s, is that you need to enjoy your life, but you also don't need to throw your 20s away.
Yes.
You need to invest in your future self, but enjoy it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be too much of partying, but don't be too much of working. Find that middle ground where it's like, I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying every moment of the ride, every portion of it. But you best believe future me is going to be proud of what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my main things is I want to look back and say, I didn't regret anything I did. I vacationed. I worked. I did everything I can to provide. And that's all I'm happy with. I'm at peace with that. I'm okay with giving up some nights of me drinking and partying for me to sacrifice my family vacation. I'm okay with that. Someone else might say, hey, I'm single. I want to party, but I still want to work hard. That's okay, too. There's so many different avenues on how to live your life and what you're going to do. I just think that people don't have a clear vision. But for you specifically, you've obviously grown a team. You've done a lot of different things in your life. What does a happy life look for you? Is it more of, you know, the work side? What brings happiness for you?
Shit, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At the end of the day, it's like, as long as I'm doing something with a purpose for my family.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I hit a point where it was just like, all right, me. You know,
Yeah.
let me go ball out here. Let me go have fun here. Let me go party there. Let me go take a trip here. I'm not gonna lie. I felt guilty all the time. I couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
100% couldn't enjoy it. And I was like, man, what is it?
Why couldn't you?
I just thought about my family. I'm like, I'm blowing all this money. I had a good time. I'm not gonna regret it later on, but it's not my real why.
Right.
I'm telling you, I grew up being family oriented.
Yeah.
You know, my mom always told me, if you don't have enough for everybody, don't do it. Don't eat it. Don't take it to the public or whatever the case was. You know, and that's what sticks with me. Is like, man, yeah, you know, my siblings, me and my 3 siblings, man, we're tight, bro. Everywhere we go, anybody mess with us, oh man, we'd all jump in or whatever the case is, you know. And that's what I think about. Like, damn, like, I'm the youngest of us 4, and I'll be like, man, like, I'm over here enjoying this, you know. And it was because of them. So one thing I do is I look at somebody, and I understand their story, look at their mistakes, and I avoid those. Luckily, I had those 3 siblings. They had a lot of mistakes, like every person, and I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, he did this, but maybe we could work on it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm always going to be grateful for that. That's why, going back, I got out of that hole because there's more people behind me. You know, there's younger people, there's younger siblings still, whatever the case is, nieces, nephews. The way I look up to them, they're going to look up to me. So now that's why I can't be happy just doing this for myself, you know?
Right. 100%.
You know, I want a family one day.
Right.
So I know if I'm blowing all this money and enjoying it by myself, it's not going to fulfill me. So what actually does fulfill me is taking care of people, you know, providing services. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, hey, you want me to do your roof? I'll do it. I mean, I used to do it for 7 years, you know?
Right.
Whatever the case is, if I can help you, I'm going to feel good.
Right.
That's how I get fulfilled, you know? If I can help my family, my siblings, my girl, whatever the case is, anybody, like even a stranger that messages me on Instagram. Hey, it's not about real estate, but you can help me with this? Yeah, without a doubt, man.
Yeah.
If I got some time, let me go do it. You know, if not, hey, how about this day? I can't do it. I'm busy too. I'm not going to, you know, not be realistic with them. Sell them a dream.
Right.
Like, I'm going to help you, man.
Right.
You know, but that's what fulfills me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not, I'm telling you, before I would have been like, man, the money, you know? I would have been like, man, the money, bro, the money.
Right.
I want the freaking car. But it's not that. And actually, going back to what we were talking about, enjoying your 20s, it's funny how you say that, but that's the reason why I got my car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's something like super expensive, but it's not something super cheap either, you know? It had a purpose, though. It gave me the idea of like, hey, there's more to the world. There's expensive things you can enjoy, but you have to work very hard for these things. Right. And also, it goes back to being an example. You can either drive or walk to work every day, or you can enjoy a car that you actually have wanted.
Right.
You know, you pick and choose. What do you want to do with yourself?
Right.
You know, be the good example. Help these people learn. There's other options out here, man. Don't be freaking walking those 10 miles every day.
Right.
Because you're doing the bare minimum. No, go look for it, man. There's more to it. You know. And then myself, I'm like, hey, well, I got this. Imagine what I can do if I just work a little harder, work a little smarter. You know, understand these systems.
Right.
You know, if we can help out people more efficiently. Oh man.
And that's at the end of the day, I think the one thing I want people to recognize is that
Mm-hmm.
the only way you're gonna learn more about yourself is through your own experience. So
Yes.
you have to do that. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
travel. You gotta figure out what you like and what you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you might buy the new car and be like, I don't really fucking like it. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not a car person. You know, like it's cool to kind of recognize that because it's like you traveled. One thing that I was taught very young is like I don't want to be in Mexico by myself drinking, bro. Like I want my whole crew with me. Like if I'm gonna go out, I want all my friends and want my family, the people I love that I care about is gonna be around me when we're celebrating or when we're traveling. I like to have that environment with a bunch of people around me, the people that I love, the people that I want to spend the most time with, because that's gonna bring me more fulfillment, right? Like there was a trip that we had with the company that they did for us, and the first year that we had this trip, the company trip, I took my family with me, and it was the best thing I could ever fucking imagine. Like my whole family went. It was supposed to be just a company trip for me and my girl, and my daughter was there, and my whole family went, and it made the trip that much more impactful for me. That much more fulfillment came out of the trip because I was able to bring my family with me. And I think that was something that is important to me because, right, it's one thing you indulge in traveling and doing things like that. It's still good to have, but it's a different level of fulfillment when you're able to see your parents enjoy it with you because they paid for trips themselves. They did a lot of things for me that when I was growing up, you know, all the experiences that they were able to give me, I can only hope and pray to do half the things that they did for me, you know, how hard they worked to be able to do the things that they've done. So for me, it's like, you know, when you're speaking about that, it's super important to recognize that. It's super important to be like, yo, I've done all this. And I didn't get that much fulfillment out of it. I got a great experience, but like I didn't really get fulfilled from it. And it's okay to recognize that. Now you move on to the next thing and you figure out how to open up that next chapter of life. It was like, okay, what really does fulfill me? What makes me feel good? And the moment that you kind of hitting that every single time within all realms of your life, it makes you that much happier. And I think too many people try to chase happiness and thinking that every day is going to be a happy life. Like you said, you just got to prepare for the worst moments. And, you know, as long as you got your guard up, you know, it's still going to hurt. Don't get me wrong. If you got your guard up and Canelo hits you, bro, you're going to get dazed. But at least you had your guard up and it wasn't a wide open shot, you know. So at the end of the day, I think you just got to continue to prepare, continue to grind, continue to push yourself to levels that you could not imagine, and life will play out. It's just you really got to continue to move forward. But for you, bro, what does your future look like, though? What do you see? You know, do you want to? How many agents do you want? How much production you want to do? What do you see for your team?
I'm not gonna lie, I wanna have a mega team, man. You know, a huge team. I actually spoke to a team lead from Texas the other day, and I was like, man, how did you do it? Because at one point, man, I had 80 agents. Yeah. You know, I had a pretty big team, and I was only 23. Yeah. You know, so I was like, damn, what am I doing here? You know, like I got everything. You know, everything's flowing out, but there's leaks, man. If you don't know the systems correctly, there's gonna be leaks. And so I'm just trying to prepare for that. I mean, that's what we were talking about. You know, that's how we met. I was like, hey, there's a restructure for all of this before I start recruiting again, getting assistants again. Like I want to prepare everything for it because I do want a mega team. You know, personally, I don't know why I told you this too, but I was like, I definitely want a 16 unit. I don't know why the 16 just for me gets my attention, man. You know, obviously there's like 20, 30 units, whatever the case, commercial, all these huge buildings, but I don't know why. It's just 16 unit. I think because my second year, I helped this realtor go check out some properties. You know, he was going to buy one. And he closed on a 16 unit, man. And like the numbers, I was like, man, it's pretty cool, you know? And just 16 units stuck to me, but business-wise, I definitely want to have a mega team. I don't know if you know, man, but I was actually trying to get my loan officer license like 2 years ago.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. But what's it called? Well, between us. You know, I couldn't get my background clear. I don't know why. Yeah. I was like, man, I got my real estate license. You know, I just renewed it. So yeah. But whatever, I was like, man, it's a sign. You know, just stick to real estate. Yeah. But I want to support other business owners. That's one thing I'm really focused on, man. I think I told you too about this, like these card holders I have in my office. I'm gonna set up. Yeah. Like that's my mission, man. Like make a difference just by helping them out. Yeah. You know, like it's not gonna hurt me. You know. Right. 100%. Like come on. But yeah, definitely for sure. When I have a mega team, see what I can do. If I can expand Cloudgate, I want to do it because I owe them a lot, man. They helped me a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Because before I was at a brokerage, they didn't help me at all. Yeah. I'm being so transparent. And I came here with these guys. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. I missed out on everything. you know, and like I was doing okay beforehand, but once I got with them, like everything grew.
Yeah.
You know, I got my structure more solidified, and I got my team going a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, they showed me the baby steps. You know, like, hey, they kept telling me, they're like, hey man, you accelerated too much. Like, hold up, come back. You know,
Yeah, slow down.
They're like, oh, where'd you learn all this? And I was like, oh, well, by myself. Yeah. You know, I was by myself for 2.5 years. Like, I didn't have a mentor or anything, so I was like, I don't know, bro, just YouTube and like reading Google Pages, all these things, you know, reading books, and they're like, hold up, like you need to come back, you know, and reconstruct this part, reconstruct that, and I'm like, okay, cool, you know. So I mean, I'm very loyal, you know, so I owe them that. So I keep saying so, oh my god, but it's the but if I can, I'll definitely do it, you know, because they helped me out, so it's my turn, you know. Anyway, I want to have a huge team, so if we could just maneuver ourselves to a bigger office just for us, I mean, it'll work out too.
100%.
But I mean, definitely, I mean, for sure, I want to keep growing this.
Fuck yeah, bro.
I think one of my, I don't really tell people this, but man, I want to go back to construction sometimes.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
And I get bored of the office sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I like meeting people in person, talking, you know, stuff like that, because, man, being in the computer is kind of boring sometimes. I miss using the hammer here and there. But that's another thing I want to do. I want to open up a construction company once my team is solidified.
Yeah.
And start building homes again.
Oh, bro, you know? That's badass.
So that's like, I gotta hit that, man.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, you know, that's one thing I gotta do, because I need a little project here and there for myself, you know. So no, but that's one of my like long-term goals for sure. That's dope, right now.
Bro. That's dope.
Just solidify this partnership with you, man.
Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. All right, so I always end this question with anybody that comes on the show. I do like to make sure to have this question because it's impactful for me. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I do like to know is if you had to talk to your younger self, mm-hmm. what advice would you give him?
Oh, damn. These are good questions, man.
Thank you.
Nah, man, like, just prepare yourself. Like, it's okay. I think one thing I would look for is what was it? Like approval from everybody else. Yeah. You know, my older family. Like, am I doing this right, guys? You know, this and that. This is what you guys will do, you know. Don't do that. Make yourself happy. Like, follow your dreams. Work hard. Don't get distracted too much. There's going to be hard times coming. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. It's okay. Stuff happens. Just keep moving forward, you know. But make sure that you're focused on your goals and you're not trying to accomplish somebody else's goals. You know, because I feel like that's something that's very common in a Hispanic household. You know, the kids are like, man, like my parents said they wanted to graduate college or something. And that's something I would try and follow. Yeah. But it's not that, man. As long as you're happy and you'll be successful. If you're happy with what you're doing, you know, you're following your goals, you're hitting exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Hey, I don't want to sound cocky, but I made 6 figures and I didn't go to college. Right. You know? Yeah. And that's something that...
Say it with your chest, bro. Yeah.
People say, they're like, oh, how long did you go to college for? I'm like, man, I didn't even step into college, bro. Like, you know? And that's something that I would tell myself, just, hey, whatever you want to do, just go for it, man. Yeah. You know? Don't overthink it. Yeah. It's for you and not for them. At the end of the day, you know, they're going to... Your family and everybody else is going to depend on you. Yeah. With whatever success you made out of yourself. You know, when they get older, you can take care of them as long as you became successful doing what you want to do.
100%. 100%. I love that, bro. Well, again, I want to say thank you so much for your time, bro. It's just badass. I love your story, bro. It's definitely inspiring for everybody that's watching this, just to kind of hear how much you've grown over the last couple of years, and you, no matter what's in front of you, continue to grind, continue to go hard, and it's really inspiring to see for myself, and I know everybody else. Hopefully, if you've watched, you've made sure to take your notepad out, took some notes on his journey, and hopefully this can apply to you. And if it does, please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate it.